Hello and welcome to Mountain Aromatics. Today I'm going to go over two materials that are a little similar. One is Cedrenyl acetate and Bornafix. So Citronellyl acetate is by Penta, the company Penta. It is a soft, woody cedarwood. It is kind of faint, so it's not this strong pencil shaving cedarwood like Texas cedarwood, which is a juniper. It is 400 hours. Of course, this is a base. They're both a base. This last I said 400 hours. Its average amount of usage is about 20%. So I'm just smelling it at 100%. And it is soft and woody. And you can tell it has that characteristic of a cedar wood, but it's not that sharp. It's the soft, definite, rounded edges. This is not a vertical piercing type of aroma or a sour note that can happen with some of the junipers. So here I have it on the test strip at 10%. I did it just a couple of minutes ago. So at 10%, it's really faint. I can detect it, but this is going to be one of those that's a big fat molecule. I've been writing down the molecular weights on my bottles. That's really nerdy, but it's actually really helpful, and it might be helpful for you because that just means if it's really a heavy, large molecule, it's going to be definitely hard to smell. But I'm telling you, 10% on this test strip, I'm going to come back 4 days later and it's still going to be on here, and it'll probably be even more detectable tomorrow. But I can smell it. It is one of those, I really like this one, and that's why I'm doing a video on it, because it's the softer type of wood that you can combine with cedar wood. And you know, I'm going to throw extra material in here. Virginia cedarwood, but I'll give you the but in just a minute because there's stuff to it. So with this one, it's just going to round and soften some of your wood materials that if they're a little too sharp or something like that, which are going to be your non-true cedar woods, like your Texas and your Virginia. But I know I keep saying but this Virginia cedar wood, you want to hold on because it's really cool. So I don't know, this lends itself to florals and rounding out when you need to soften something or round something out a little bit more. This could be very helpful. So our next one is the Bornafix. Bornafix is from IFF. This one is a little bit more warm. So that one's not so much warmth with it, but this one is a little bit more warm. This is a little bit drier. Let me just smell at 100% first as well. Clear, almost a watery, more of a oily, not that it's oily, but it has the consistency of oil. Here almost, it's another huge fat molecule. It's not strong at all. You're going to be like, I don't smell anything. How's this going to do anything for my fragrance? That is one of those things that you will learn, telling you, even though you're like, I don't really smell anything. How's this going to help my fragrances? It will. So this one it has a cedarwood aroma as well. With Bornafix, Fix, F-I-X, it's a fixative. So when I was first starting, which a lot of you are, I don't know, it just never hit me that Fix. I just thought that was just part of some of the names, but fixative. They name almost every one of their names. There's a kind of a reason, and sometimes it takes you a while to figure out some of them. This one's kind of an easy one. Fix, like Bornafix. There'll be another one. Fixative 505. It's a fixative. So anyway, this is a fixative and a blender. So to me, this is a worker material. So and when I say a worker material, with its blending properties and its fixative properties, this is not used. I don't use this. Oh, I love this aroma, this smell. I want my fragrance to smell like this. That's not it. To me, its real purpose. There's not a lot of aroma here in the headspace. And that's fine, because I'm using it a little bit more with its fixative properties. Yes, it has a little bit of an aroma. I have it here at 10%. A little bit more of the cedarwood, a little amber. My dog, oh my God, please don't knock everything down. Okay, thank you. It's my roommate's dog. So for those of you who are like, I thought your dog died. My dog did die. But Sydney, I got him with my roommate. I was there to help pick him out. Was there when we picked him up. I've raised him. So he's kind of my dog as well. But my roommate's not hearing this. So anyway. Bornafix at 10%. A little bit more of the warm wood. You could tell it's a drier warm wood, but very, very faint. And again, it will be on here. It's 312 hours, so 2 days, 3 days, 4 days later, it's still going to be on here. And tomorrow, or later on today, tonight, it's going to be stronger. So a lot of times these big fat molecules, even in the first hour or two, you're like, I don't really get anything. Come back a couple of hours later and it will be stronger. A day later even. There's some materials that are like this, that you can come back a day later and they are stronger on the test strip than they are after a day. It's one of those aha moments, like, what? It's just because they're so huge fat molecules, it kind of can work like that. So to me, this one is a little bit more of a worker material. It's just aroma is less present. And this one's more so. The wood, soft wood, is a little bit more pronounced than this one. But this is a little bit, has more fixative blender properties to it. But again, it's going to give a little bit of dryness and a little bit of warmth to your formula. So if you're looking for that, and it's not too dry. There are some that are like, holy Moses. I picked one up right before doing this. And it is just like, oh my, it makes me thirsty. Orinox, O-R-I-N-O-X. I have mine, I keep mine at 10% because it's strong. And you know, I do most of my stuff at 100%. So this one fits at 10%. Very dry. It's kind of a labdanum, a dried out, sun-dried, desert sun, hot, dried out labdanum, amber. Very dry. super, super dry. One of the definitely in the top 5 of being so dry. This isn't that dry, but there's a little bit of dryness here. So just thinking, using this as a fixative and a blender, and here the Cedrenyl acetate. Remember, acetate, that word can be, it kind of depends on the material. Sometimes it's a little sour and sometimes it's a little juicy. But acetate, typically you need to think sour a little bit. I hate saying that word because it sounds so negative in the perfume, with perfumes, and fragrances. But you need to think sour and you need to think juicy. And it's typically going to be one of those. And this one is not that, it's not that sour. You can kind of tell in the background there's a little bit of sour or acidity in there, but it's not dominant. So I don't want to scare you. It's really soft and woody. So the Virginia cedarwood. So I've gotten a Virginia cedarwood from Now, N-O-W. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with that brand, and it's clear. Well, Virginia cedarwood and Texas cedarwood, I think it's more of actually Texas cedarwood, but there's a Texas cedarwood that is clear from Now as well, and the Texas cedarwood and my Virginia cedarwood that I have here is not clear. In fact, look how dark. It's very, very dark. It's because it's a higher quality. They don't, a lot of times those other companies like Now takes that extra from the industry, the extra sawdust, and they'll take that extra industrial sawdust of the Texas cedar or the Virginia cedar, and they will distill that. And this is not the extra junk that is going to just be just extra or whatever. This is the good stuff. And how you know is that even that Texas cedarwood, and I haven't gotten it yet from Eden Botanicals, but reading on it, it's darker as well. And I do have the Texas cedarwood that is clear from Now, and it's clear from Aura Acacia. It is clear as well. And they are omitting more and more information from their products, which I don't like, because I need to know like its sourcing and what it is, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I'm diverting. So with this Virginia cedarwood, I've smelled the Virginia cedarwood lower quality that's clear as well, and that's really sharp. But this is beautiful. I'm like, oh, this is Virginia cedarwood? Are you kidding me? Oh, I like this. I have not been using Virginia cedarwood because I thought it was that other Virginia cedarwood, and I'm like, ew, this is like sharp, like pencil shaving, sharp, acidic, sour vertical, just like, ew, oh my god, even at 1%, how would I use this? But this, oh my god, holy Moses, this is beautiful. This is nice, and even has some rounding edges. It's not sharp. It is beautiful. I'm like, oh, okay, holy shnikes. This I would totally use. I can cuss on my video if I want to, whatever, it doesn't matter. And yes, I cuss, like whatever. But it is dry, it's smooth, It's balsamic. It is sweeter in the dry down. So as this dries down, 2 hours, 4 hours, 6, 10 hours later, it gets a little bit sweeter and a little bit sweeter. And it's when you smell it at the headspace. There, you can detect some sweetness, but it's not like candy sweet by any means. It's a wood, but it does get sweeter in the dry down. It's beautiful. So it has just opened up a whole new world for me. So I bring that up because that is one of those ones that you can use with this. And this definitely has an aroma where these don't smell near as much. This probably has 10 times the aroma. Like, wow, I smell this. This is awesome. These don't smell near as much. Although, even as time has gone on in this video, this one is becoming more and more prominent, like I said it would. So, how can you use these? What would you put these things with? Well, ambers. And of course, you know, there's 2 directions of ambers. You can do like amberoxan with this. You can pull in your citruses as your top notes, like grapefruit, bergamot, and of course, I should do a whole video on this, but being careful of your citruses that they do not smell like school bathroom cleaner, industrial cleaners, because some of the materials that we use, they use because they're cheap and they smell very, very fresh and clean. Some of your lemons and whatever, and like limonel, which is a nitrile. It reminds me of bathroom cleaners in schools, and it just is nasty. I can't smell it. It just smells like cleaner, and that's why it's a little difficult, and you've got to be careful with your citruses that they don't smell cleaning like. Ugh. Anyway, so lemon kind of being one of those you want to be a little bit careful with. And then with that, D-limonene and L-limonene are totally different. The D, dextro, and L, I can't pronounce it, but that meaning the left and the right of limonene. And so you're like, oh, they're the same. The left and the right, they're the same. No, the left and the right, when you put on top of each other, are not mirror images. So that's how you do it. You don't do it like this. So that's how the D-limonene and the L-limonene are different. And the D-limonene, to me, is less cleaner-like. It's more on the orangier side. And the L-limonene being a little lemony, but there's some pine in there. In the lemon and pine together really can put you in the cleaner category, which can not be good. So you just want to use a little bit, if you have the L-limonene, just be a little aware of that and careful with that. So anyway, that's something I would do. You can, so that's your citruses. And then I think with florals, I would go, so this is a little bit more what your typical guy would be in a fragrance he might enjoy. So going with like some pear, a pear would be really good. And I know I said floral, but that's a fruit. So whatever, I don't care. So I'm just thinking off the top of my head. Some peach, some pear would be good. If you want to keep it really, really clean with your musk, I would go with Araline, Ultralid, galaxolide or apelide. Those would be really nice and can still stay in that same framework with the citruses that I mentioned and the fruit that I mentioned. And I think another thing would, where I'm just taking it in my head, because sometimes when I do this, I'm just telling you how I would make it and what I would be pulling right now. And that would be some of your oceanic sea aromas, beach aromas. So I'm looking at some of my accords, like a beachside accord or a clean marine accord, a sweet ocean accord. So it's going to be some of your watermelon ketone, ambronol, grisalva, cyclomyrol. That's more of an air, but that fits with what we're doing, and so I just mentioned it. With florals, I think the best thing in still making a fragrance, going with everything I just said, would be it's at the top of my head, hold on, I just got to turn to it really quick, an orange flower accord, orange blossom accord. Instead of just orange, like sweet orange or blood orange essential oil, I think for me, I would go with a orange flower, which is just a little narcotic, and just bring some depth to it. And that's going to pull it down to those deeper materials that we have going on here. So that will pull that top that top citrus notes down, and it's going to be more kind of like a bridge to these base deeper wood notes that we have. So I hope that was helpful. And again, we went over Cedrenyl acetate, Bornafix from IFF, and Virginia's Cedarwood, that essential oil that I got from Eden Botanicals. So thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it. If you like this video and you want to support me a little bit, you can do that on patreon.com/Mountain Aromatics. And with that support, I give you stuff like formulas and samples. You can check that out there. And I appreciate you being here with me. And I will see you on the next Mountain Aromatics. Have a good day.